Police.
The Lansing area NAACP is voicing its concerns tonight about proposed ordinances in East Lansing that are cracking down on homelessness in the downtown area. The first ordinance redefines camping by banning sleeping or setting up bedding in the downtown corridor, including parking structures and restrooms. The second one would limit how city parking facilities can be used, requiring people to move along after warnings. But the NAACP says these ordinances would only criminalize homelessness and expose the city to civil rights violations. In a statement, the organization says, quote, "The proposed ordinance would make it illegal for unhoused individuals to sleep or rest in public spaces without providing sufficient accessible alternatives for shelter. This approach does not solve homelessness, it merely displaces it," end quote. The ordinances still need additional readings and final approval before taking effect. The next City Council meeting in East Lansing is on February 17th.
A live look from Capitol